The most dangerous idea in philosophy. They are all answering the same question. Clip 1, philosopher, mid-50s, the most dangerous idea. Oh, without a doubt, it's the one that erodes the very foundation of meaning itself. The idea that we might just be biological machines. Clip 2, neuroscientist, 40s, dangerous. I suppose the idea that free will is an illusion. It's a notion that, if truly internalized, could dismantle our entire legal and ethical systems. Clip 3, historian, 60s, history is littered with dangerous ideas. But the most pernicious are those that claim to have found a final, ultimate truth, a single answer to the human condition. That's when the guillotines get wheeled out. Alex, what is the most dangerous idea ever conceived? Not the most destructive weapon, or the most vile political ideology, but the pure, abstract idea that, once it enters the cultural bloodstream, has the potential to unravel society, invalidate morality, or reduce human life to a cosmic joke. I asked that question to dozens of experts, philosophers, scientists, theologians, and historians. And their answers were terrifyingly diverse. But as I sifted through them, a handful of contenders kept rising to the top. Ideas so powerful and so corrosive that some thinkers have argued we might be better off not thinking about them at all. Today, we're going to count down the top 5 most dangerous ideas in philosophy, according to experts, and crown the ultimate winner. This isn't about what idea is the most evil, it's about which one has the deepest, most unsettling, and most potentially hazardous implications for who we are and how we live. Stick around, because by the end of this, you might just question everything. The problem of evil. Alex, coming in at number 5, is an idea so old it's literally biblical, the problem of evil. This isn't evil as in a villain twirling his mustache. This is a logical argument, and it goes like this: if an all-powerful, omnipotent, all-knowing, omniscient, and all-good, omnibenevolent God exists, then evil should not exist. But evil clearly does exist. There is immense suffering, natural disasters, and profound moral wickedness in the world. Therefore, such a God cannot exist. This idea was most famously formulated by the Greek philosopher Epicurus over 2,000 years ago. It's a philosophical atom bomb dropped on the doorstep of traditional theism. Why is it dangerous? For centuries, in the West, belief in God was the bedrock of reality. It was the source of moral law, the promise of cosmic justice, and the ultimate comfort in the face of a painful and short life. The problem of evil doesn't just say maybe God isn't real. It says the very concept of a benevolent, all-powerful God is logically incompatible with the world we see around us. It forces a believer into a series of increasingly difficult corners. Maybe God isn't all-powerful. Then he's not God. Maybe he's not all good. Then he's a monster. Maybe he has a mysterious plan we can't understand. Then we've sacrificed reason on the altar of faith. This idea has fueled atheism for millennia. It destabilized entire civilizations built on divine right. It's the ultimate why do bad things happen to good people question, and its power lies in its devastating simplicity. It suggests that the universe, at its core, might not be just, kind, or fair. And that is a terrifyingly lonely thing to realize. Alex, at number 4, we have an idea that threatens the very core of your identity, determinism, or the death of free will. Let's break it down. Hard determinism argues that every event, including every human thought, decision, and action, is the inevitable result of preceding events, and the unbreakable laws of nature. Your brain is a physical system. Every neuron that fires is caused to fire by a prior physical state, all the way back to the Big Bang. Think about that for a second. The choice you made to click on this video. The product of your genetic makeup, your upbringing, the videos you've watched before, the chemical state of your brain microseconds before you clicked. It was predetermined billions of years ago. Why is this so dangerous? Because our entire society is built on the concept of free will. Justice, we punish people because we believe they chose to do wrong. But if a murderer's actions were the predetermined result of a bad childhood, bad genes, and a bad brain, can we truly hold them responsible? Do they deserve punishment, or are they merely a broken component that needs fixing? This doesn't lead to justice, it leads to a clinical, cold form of management. Achievement, your pride in your accomplishments. Meaningless. You were always going to succeed. Your shame over your failures. Equally pointless. You were destined to fail. Love and relationships, the feeling that you freely chose your partner. An illusion. You were a chemical reaction waiting to happen. The neuroscientist Sam Harris, a prominent proponent of this view, argues that realizing free will is an illusion could actually make us more compassionate. We'd see others not as autonomous agents to blame, but as victims of their own causality. But critics fire back, without the idea of free will, what motivation do we have to even try to be better? If it's all determined, why not just give up? It's an idea that turns the subjective experience of being you into a ghost riding a biological machine on a fixed track to a predetermined destination. Spooky. Alex, we're getting into the heavy hitters now. At number 3, we stare into the abyss, nihilism. Nihilism is the belief that there is no inherent meaning, purpose, or intrinsic value in life. The universe is silent. Morality is not discovered, it's invented. There is no grand scorekeeper, no final judgment, no cosmic plan. The danger of nihilism isn't just existential dread, it's the potential for absolute apathy or absolute destruction. On one hand, it can lead to a passive, despairing why bother attitude. If nothing matters, then your struggles are pointless, your joys are just fleeting neurological events, and your existence is a tiny, insignificant blip in an indifferent cosmos. It's the philosophical equivalent of giving up. On the other hand, and this is where it gets truly dangerous, if nothing matters, then anything is permitted. If there is no objective right or wrong, then the only limits are those of power and desire. This is the philosophical justification used by history's greatest monsters. Why shouldn't I seize power, eliminate my enemies, and reshape the world in my image? Your moral objections are just your subjective opinions, no more valid than my subjective opinion that I should be in charge. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, who famously announced God is dead, saw nihilism as the greatest crisis of modernity. But he didn't celebrate it, he saw it as a terrifying vacuum that needed to be filled. He warned that if we didn't find a way to create our own meaning and values, a concept he called becoming the Übermensch, we would succumb to the last man, a pathetic creature concerned only with comfort and safety, having given up on anything greater. Nihilism is the ultimate negation. It doesn't just attack one system of belief, it attacks the very idea that belief and meaning are possible. It's the void that swallows all light. Alex, we are down to the final 2. And at number 2, we have an idea so epistemologically vicious that it can make you feel insane just by considering it: solipsism. Solipsism is the philosophical theory that only one's own mind is sure to exist. You cannot prove that any side of your own consciousness is real. This screen you're watching, the sound of my voice, your friends, your family, the entire external world, it could all be an incredibly elaborate hallucination, a dream, or a simulation run specifically for you. You are the only real person, and everyone and everything else is a figment of your imagination. Why is this so dangerous? Because it is the ultimate form of intellectual isolation. It severs any possibility of genuine connection, empathy, or shared reality. If you truly, deeply believed in solipsism, you would have no reason to be moral. Other people aren't real, they're sophisticated NPCs in your game. Their suffering is as meaningful as a character in a video game getting hurt. You could be the greatest saint or the most brutal tyrant, and it wouldn't matter, because you're the only mind that exists to judge it. It completely dismantles the project of science, which is based on a shared, objective reality that can be measured and tested. If the world is just in your head, why bother? Fortunately, almost no one is a practicing solipsist. It's practically impossible to live your life as if other people aren't real. But its power isn't in practical application, its power is as a skeptical tool that highlights the fragility of our knowledge. We assume the world is real, we assume other minds exist, but we can never truly, definitively prove it. Solipsism is the nightmare of a mind that has followed the path of radical doubt to its very end and found itself utterly, terrifyingly alone. Alex, so, what idea could be more dangerous than the negation of reality itself? More corrosive than nihilism? More disruptive than the death of free will or God? According to a significant plurality of the experts I spoke with, the most dangerous idea in philosophy is the most dangerous idea, Alex, the idea that happiness is the sole, ultimate goal of human life, and that society should be organized to maximize it. In other words, pure, unadulterated utilitarianism. Now, hear me out. This doesn't sound dangerous. It sounds lovely. The greatest happiness for the greatest number. What could be wrong with that? It was revolutionary when philosophers like Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill proposed it in the 18th and 19th centuries. It advocated for social reform, animal rights, and a focus on human well-being over abstract rules. But peel back the layers, and you find a philosophical framework that, if taken to its logical conclusion, can justify literally any atrocity. Utilitarianism is a form of consequentialism. The morality of an act is judged solely by its consequences. Not by intentions, not by duties, not by rights. Just the cold, hard math of happiness versus suffering. This is where the monster reveals itself. Let's play out a few classic thought experiments. The organ harvester. A brilliant surgeon has 5 patients, each dying from a failing organ. One needs a heart, one a liver, and so on. A healthy, homeless tourist comes in for a checkup. The surgeon could secretly anesthetic him, harvest his organs, save 5 lives, and send the healthy organs to 5 other people, causing minimal overall sadness. 1 unknown homeless person dies, and immense happiness. 5 families are saved. A utilitarian must agree that murdering the tourist is not just acceptable, but the morally obligatory thing to do. Punishing the innocent. A sheriff in a small town can prevent a devastating riot that will kill hundreds by falsely convicting and executing an innocent man. The mob will believe justice is served and disperse. The utilitarian calculation is clear: the suffering of one innocent man and his family is vastly outweighed by the happiness of hundreds of lives saved and order preserved. Therefore, the sheriff must frame and execute the innocent man. This is why experts find it so dangerous. It provides a seemingly rational, even scientific, justification for sacrificing individual rights and human dignity on the altar of the collective good. It reduces human beings to containers of pleasure and pain, to be measured, calculated, and optimized. In the 20th century, we saw the horrific results of ideologies that subjugated the individual to the abstract greater good of the state, the race, or the revolution. Utilitarianism provides the perfect moral calculus for such horrors. Who wouldn't sacrifice a few to create a perfect, happy utopia for the many? It also threatens the things that give life deep meaning. Justice, truth, love, rights. Under utilitarianism, these are not sacred. They are merely tools. Useful fictions we uphold only because they tend to promote happiness. But the moment they don't, they must be cast aside. It's an idea that, in its pure form, doesn't just allow for tyranny, it demands it. It takes our deepest moral impulses and weaponizes them, creating a world where everything is permissible so long as the math works out. It's the danger of good intentions, stripped of any constraints and armed with a calculator. Music returns, softer now, more contemplative. Alex, so, there you have it. The most dangerous idea isn't necessarily the one that denies reality or meaning. It's the one that offers a seemingly perfect, simple, and rational answer to the complex mess of human existence. It's the idea that promises heaven but builds hell with the bricks of good intentions. But here's the final, crucial point. The reason we engage with these dangerous ideas isn't to become nihilists or solipsists or cold utilitarian calculators. It's to test the foundations of what we believe. It's to understand the full implications of the principles we hold dear. A society that never questions its own foundations is fragile. By staring into these philosophical abysses, we decide what we truly value. We choose to believe in free will, not because we can prove it, but because the alternative is untenable. We choose to believe in inherent human rights, not because the universe guarantees them, but because we refuse to live in a world where they can be traded away for a net increase in happiness. The most dangerous ideas are mirrors. They show us what we fear most about the universe and about ourselves. And in doing so, they force us to choose, consciously and deliberately, what kind of world we want to build in spite of them. What do you think is the most dangerous idea? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.